Good morning, students. Our session of auditing and corporate governance. In the previous session, we have completed our second unit, and the second chapter, that is vouching. Now there is a short revision of our syllabus. Till now, we have completed total 6 chapters of 2 units. Make sure in unit number 1 there are 4 chapters. In unit number 2 there are 2 chapters, and unit number 3 and unit number 4 consist a single chapter. So, as far as your examination is concerned, you are supposed to refer total 8 chapters of 4 units. So, in the last session, we have completed about vouching. In that, we have seen the different points of that particular chapter. Today, we'll start with the new unit, that is company auditor. The title of the chapter suggests itself that it is about auditor itself, that how auditor is going to perform his duty, what are the different rights of our auditor, then after what is the status of auditor, how auditor is appointed in any organization, who will decide the remuneration of auditor, for how many terms you are going to appoint your auditor. So that's all we'll discuss in this particular chapter. Now move further. Here the syllabus is given to us, that is about main points that we'll cover in this chapter. Under that, the first one is introduction, then after qualification, then after disqualification, the next one is appointment of an auditor, next legal process before accepting appointment, then removal of auditor, auditor's remuneration, status of an auditor, rights of auditor, auditor's lien, and duties of auditor. So these are the main points that we'll discuss in this particular chapter. Now, first we are going to see the introduction of company auditor. An auditor is a person who makes an independent report to a company's shareholders to show whether the company has prepared its final statements according to company law and other financial reporting rules. Basically, auditor is going to be work for company's shareholders. As we all know that equity shareholders are the owner of organization, because they provide the main capital to the company, and when they provide capital to the organization, it is a duty of organization to give nitty-gritty knowledge, nitty-gritty informations to our real owner, that is to our shareholders. So, appointment of auditor, that we'll see later on, but basically shareholders are going to appoint company's auditor. So, auditor is working on behalf of our shareholders. Now, it is very difficult that each and every shareholders are going to inspect the financial data, the accounting data of the organization. And shareholders have a right to vote, but they do not have a right for the inspection of different books of accounts and different financial statements. So, they are going to appoint an agent on behalf of them. So, that agent is company's auditor. Now, company auditor is going to verify each and every transactions, each and every books of accounts, and each and every financial reports that is prepared by the organization. And here, company is going to see that, auditor is going to see that company is preparing books of accounts and any other legal matters according to the company's law. If company is not following the company's law, then definitely auditor will report the same to their shareholders. And now shareholders are going to take a strict action against organization. So, the main task of auditor, that is to see company performing on a legal matters with the legal terms, and in the books of accounts which is prepared by the organization, that must be free of any errors and any frauds. So, the main task of auditor, that is to report the working condition of the organization to the shareholders. The report must also state whether a company's accounts give a true and fair view of its financial affairs at the end of the year. Yes, as we already discussed the phrase that is true and fair view in our first chapter of unit number 1. So here company's auditor is going to see that each and every books of accounts must produce true and fair view of the financial affairs of the particular organization at the end of the year. So it is a duty of auditor, that is to see that company prepared books of accounts in a proper manner. The verifications of the books of accounts must be done by the auditor, and each and every books of accounts must produce true and fair view, so that the shareholders comes to know about how company is working and how company is utilizing their capital in the market or in the organization. The auditor must be told of all general meetings of the company and can attend and speak. Yes, auditor has a right to attend each and every general meeting which is held by the organization, and auditor has a right to attend, but he also has a right to speak in this particular meeting. Normally, when the audit report is prepared, when auditor prepare his audit report, now in AGM, auditor is going to present this audit report in front of their shareholders. Now in this presentation of audit report, he is going to speak about the working of organization. If organization is doing each and everything fairly, then definitely he will mention in his speech. But if organization commits any error or any fraud in any books of accounts, then also he has a right to point out the mistakes of organization in front of their shareholder. So auditor has a right to attend and give his opinion about the working style of company in annual general meeting. However, the auditor is not entitled to vote. Yes, auditor does not have a right to vote because he is not the part of organization. Auditor is a third person who is going to be appointed by the shareholders or by the company for a specific period of time and for the specific task only. So, auditor is not going to share his capital with the company. So, there is no voting right to company's auditor. Then after, auditor has to get himself acquainted with various provisions of the Companies Act relating to his appointment, his right, his duties and liabilities. Now, company auditor need to entitled with each and every provisions of the Companies Act, because if auditor is not going to fulfill the basic provisions of the Companies Act, then he is not entitled to work as an auditor of the organization. So, it's all about the introduction of companies. Company auditor. Now, we'll discuss about the next point is qualification of an auditor. The qualification of an auditor is divided into two parts. The first one that is chartered accountant and second one that is certified auditor. The first one, as we all know that our auditor must be a CA, means the person who is chartered accountant under the Act of Chartered Accountant 1949 is qualified for the appointment of company auditor. He must be a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountant Act. And if there is a firm of CA, then company is going to appoint a firm as a company auditor. Now, if there are partners in that CA firm, then any partner is eligible to work as an auditor in the name of their firm. Or company is going to appoint an individual, a single person who is a CA to work as an auditor. But it is not advisable to appoint a single person. The main reason is that when the transactions of the organization are very large, when company is preparing lots of books of accounts and there are many financial statements of the organization, so at that time it is really very difficult for a single person to handle each and everything. So it is advisable to the company, that is to appoint a chartered accountant firm in which there are few partners and each and every partners are CA. So the work will be divided amongst them and company is able to get a good result with the minimum efforts. So first qualification of an auditor is he must be a CA. Means he need to pass each and every examinations and each and every basic requirements of Chartered Accountant Act 1949. Then after, second one, that is certified auditor. Now certified auditor gets the certificate from the central government that they are entitled to work as an auditor in the premises of state government office and in the premises of central government office. એક બેસ્ટ એક્ઝામ્પલ આપું છું. રેસકોર્સ પાસે આપણે એજી ઓફિસ ઘણા બધા લોકોએ જોયેલી હશે, અથવા ઘણા બધાના પેરેન્ટ્સ, આમાંથી કોઈ સ્ટુડન્ટ્સના પેરેન્ટ્સ એમાં વર્ક કરતા હશે અથવા તમારા ફેમિલી મેમ્બર પણ એમાં વર્ક કરતા હશે. એજી ઓફિસ. હવે અકાઉન્ટન્ટ એન્ડ જનરલ ઓફિસ, એજી ઓફિસ જે છે એ ઓફિસમાં સેન્ટ્રલ અને સ્ટેટ ગવર્મેન્ટની જેટલી પણ કંપની છે એ બધી કંપનીના અકાઉન્ટ્સ પ્રિપેર થાય છે, પ્લસ એ બધા અકાઉન્ટ્સનું ઓડિટિંગ ત્યાં થાય છે. In AG office there are two different departments. The first department is about accounts, a bill section, and the second department is ઓડિટ ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટ. હવે સ્ટેટ ગવર્મેન્ટ છે, સેન્ટ્રલ ગવર્મેન્ટ છે, એમણે પોતાની ઓફિસનું ઓડિટિંગ કરાવવું હશે, then definitely they are not going to appoint any CA, but they are going to appoint a qualified person and produced a certificate to them, and on the basis of that certificate they are working as a certified auditor of the government. હવે ઓડિટ ડિપાર્ટમેન્ટમાં જેટલી પણ રિક્રુટમેન્ટ થાય છે એ લોકો બધા CA નથી હોતા, બટ દે આર ગ્રેજ્યુએટ્સ એન્ડ દે પાસ ધ એક્ઝામિનેશન્સ ઓફ SSE, and with their qualification and with the training they are able to work as an auditor in the premises of state or central government only. એમની અપોઇન્ટમેન્ટ સેન્ટ્રલ ગવર્મેન્ટ થ્રુ થાય છે, સો they are supposed to work in the offices of state and central government only. પછી એજી ઓફિસના કોઈ પણ એમ્પ્લોયી એ કોઈ પ્રાઇવેટ ફર્મના બુક્સ ઓફ અકાઉન્ટ્સનું ઓડિટ નહીં કરી શકે. દે આર ઓનલી એલિજિબલ ટુ વર્ક ઇન the premises of central and state government. So these are the basic qualification of an auditor. If you are a private organization and or you are a joint stock company and you are going to appoint an company auditor, then it is highly required that your auditor must be a CA. He must be the chartered accountant. And second one, certified auditor. Certified auditors are those auditors who gets the certificate from the central government and they are going to work within the permission of state and central government in the offices of governments. So these are the main qualification of an auditor. Now the next point is about disqualifications of an auditor. On which ground you can say that the person is disqualified to act as an auditor. There are few situations, there are few disqualifications that a person is not entitled to work as an auditor in the company's premises. The first one is a body corporate. Yes, you are not going to appoint any body corporate as an auditor. Now, what is body corporate? Body corporate means any organization, any corporation, and here you are going to appoint a CA firm only to work as an auditor, but you are not entitled to appoint the whole organization, the whole company as an auditor. So first disqualification is a person is a body corporate. Second one, an officer or employee of the company. Here, company is not going to appoint their own employees or their own officer as a company auditor. Whether he is CA or she is CA, you are not entitled or you are not permitted to appoint your internal staff as an company auditor. In the previous session, we already discussed that our company auditor must be a third person. He must be an outsider. Then after third one, a person who is a partner. If it is a partnership firm and if your partner is a CA, then you are not entitled to appoint your partner as a company auditor, because the partner means the owner of the company, and there are no provisions in Companies Act that the owner himself audit his books of accounts, and but obvious the partner is the internal part of the organization. So there are no chance that you are going to appoint your partner as an auditor. Then after, a person who is in debt to the company for an amount exceeding rupees 1000. Yes, if there is a purchase or sales transaction with an individual, and if the same person has a debt with the company exceeding rupees 1000, then that person is not going to be our company auditor. Because how we are going to appoint a person who is in debt with us, and how he is working with us if there is a transaction with the same person in the previous time. Then after next one, under certain circumstances, auditor will be disqualified. Now this point is going to be discussed in the rights and duties of an auditor, that in which situation auditor is not entitled to work as a company auditor. So these are the basic disqualifications, and really it is very easy one. So let's discuss about the next point, that is appointment of an auditor. Yes, only two persons have a right to appoint auditor of the company in the normal situation. The first one is BOD, that is our board of directors, and second one is our shareholders. They have a right for the appointment of our company's auditor. If these two persons fails to appoint the company auditor, then central government is going to appoint the company auditor on the behalf of organization and on the behalf of shareholders. So there are different types of an appointment of an auditor. Under that, the first one is first appointment. The first auditor of the company is going to be appointed by board of the director within a 1 month of company's registration. So first auditor of the company is appointed by BOD. The main reason is that yet company does not have their shareholders. So without shareholders, who is going to appoint the auditor? So there are the higher authorities with us, that is BOD. Board of directors have a right to appoint the first auditor of the company within the 1 month of its registration. And the term of the first auditor is till the till the conclusion of the first AGM. Means if the auditor is appointed in September, then the term of auditor is from September to March, means at the end of the financial year. In the next year, in the next financial year, again company will appoint auditor in the new financial year. So first appointment, again I am repeating, first appointment is done by BOD. Then after appointment every year. Yes, make sure auditor, the term of auditor is for a single financial year only. We are not going to appoint auditor for 5 to 6 years continuously. Means in a single appointment, auditor is not going to work for 5 to 6 years. Each and every year, you are going to appoint your company's auditor. If you are working with the same auditor, if the same auditor audits your books of accounts for 10 years, but as far as Companies Act is concerned, when the financial year ends, the term of the auditor will end. In the next term, again you are going to reappoint your auditor. So, in annual general meeting, there is an appointment of auditor by the shareholders in every year. As we already discussed in our first point, that is, first appointment is done by the board of directors. In the next year, in the next financial term, the appointment is done by the shareholders. Yes, shareholders have a right. They have a right to appoint the company's auditor in annual general meeting. And if a person is appointed as an auditor, then the company shall, within 7 days of appointment, give intimation to every auditor so appointed. So, when the general meeting is there, so within the 7 days of that general meeting, the company is going to give a formal invitation, a formal appointment letter to the auditor that you are appointed as company auditor in annual general meeting through shareholders. Now it is a duty of auditor who is appointed as a company auditor, that is to inform the registrar in writing that he is accepting this appointment, and if within the 30 days, if there is no written communication between the auditor and the registrar, then the whole appointment will fail. એટલે જ્યારે એન્યુઅલ જનરલ મિટિંગમાં શેર હોલ્ડર્સ છે એ કંપનીના ઓડિટરને અપોઇન્ટ કરે છે. એટલે એન્યુઅલ જનરલ મિટિંગ જે દિવસે કન્ડક્ટ થાય છે એના 7 દિવસની અંદર જ કંપનીએ એક ફોર્મલ લેટર ઓડિટરને આપવો પડશે, અને એ ફોર્મલ લેટરમાં એની અપોઇન્ટમેન્ટ છે એ સ્પેસિફાઈ કરેલી હશે. એન્ડ ઓન ધ બેઝિસ ઓફ દેટ સ્પેસિફિકેશન હવે ઓડિટરને આ અપોઇન્ટમેન્ટ એક્સેપ્ટ કરવી કે કેન્સલ કરવી એ ટોટલી એના બેઝડ ઉપર છે. તમે કોઈ પણ ઓડિટરને ફોર્સ ન કરી શકો કે નહીં કમ્પલસરી તમારે અમારી પ્રિમાઇસીસમાં વર્ક કરવાનું છે. હવે ઓડિટર કંપનીના રજિસ્ટ્રારનો કોન્ટેક્ટ કરશે ઇફ હી એક્સેપ્ટ ધ અપોઇન્ટમેન્ટ, બટ that is within the 30 days from the acceptance of the formal letter from the company. એટલે કંપની પાસેથી જ્યારે તમને ફોર્મલ લેટર મળે એના 30 દિવસની અંદર ઓડિટર છે એ રજિસ્ટ્રારને, કંપની રજિસ્ટ્રારને રિટર્નમાં પોતાનું અપ્રુવલ પ્રોવાઈડ કરે છે that yes, I am accepting this appointment in your organization as a company auditor. And if there is no formal written communication between auditor and the registrar of the company, it means the auditor rejects the appointment, means he does not want to work with the company as an auditor. So this is the formal process of appointment every year. Each and every year, in every general meeting, the auditor is appointed by the shareholders. Make sure only BOD has a right to appoint the first auditor. Once the first auditor is appointed, then each and every year the shareholders are going to appoint the auditor in AGM, and that is only for a single financial year. Each and every year auditor gets the new appointment for the new term. So the time period of auditor term is a single financial year only. So that's all about today's session. We discuss about the 2 points of appointment of an auditor. The first one is first appointment, that is done by the BOD. Second one is appointment every year, that is done by the shareholders in annual general meeting. So I think it is clear to you. So in the next session we are going to discuss the remaining points of appointment of an auditor. So that's all for today's session. Thank you girls, thank you so much.